so I won't fall down. Will you catch me now? Are you sure you're out? And there you go, touche. I ripped through the silence, too late, and this won't divide us. Loose change makes you heavier, trade. Just hold my weight, say it now, and don't look down. Just feel the sound and spin me round and battleground and say it now.
Live
Never too quick, just take it slow.
from the City of Angels.
Letting you down, you'll never come out. So say it now.
It's Sunday night. Sunday Night Spectacular underway. Kicking it off with a chicken tune as always. This is Drum. Don't Look Down a few years back. Great LP. I love this LP front to back. Great stuff. I mean, progressive house is my thing, right? It's almost like a lot of the stuff I listen to is very, right, soundtracky if you listen to these albums. This is more of an up-tempo, like, dance number. But trust me, I just like the production on these things. Swirly, synthesizers just rocking. It's just good, man. Good stuff. Here we go tonight. Ready to go. Let's talk about Kraven to start, and then we'll roll into a couple of evaluations. Back-to-back evaluations tonight. We're going to go September 5th, a film I really dig, and then The Order, a film I like a lot. So 2 winners tonight, which is rare. We've been really had a terrible year. I'm not going to get into it again. You guys know. You know this year's terrible. Anyone who tells you otherwise is lying. But it is nice to finally see some films that aren't bad. September 5th, one of the best films of the year. We'll tell you why in just a second. Welcome here to MMT Live, as always, from the City of Angels. Here we go. Let's do it as we get into Kraven the Hunter bombed. Now, we talked about this morning on Breaking Box Office. Why am I bringing it back up tonight? Because it was an epic bombing by this film. This is, if I'm not mistaken, the lowest CBM debut ever, certainly for Marvel, right? You're looking at $11 million. So many mistakes made here. I didn't touch on this morning. That's why I want to bring it back tonight quickly to deal with the mistakes made by Sony. Okay, very clear what the number one mistake, other than making the film, the number one mistake here is to make it an R-rated film. Okay, instantly you limit your audience. It's a CBM property in the Spider-Man universe, right? Even if he's not in the movie, even if the web slinger's nowhere to be found, it still is part of the Spider-Verse, right? So people know that, and then the kids aren't going to go because this isn't Deadpool Wolverine. This is a film that some people, parents, would be like, wait a second, Kraven the Hunter, it's hard R. You've got just like you had Deadpool Wolverine, but that was a different deal. Yes, R, but parents didn't care. It was Deadpool. Not the same with Kraven. That's a mistake. Okay, that's a massive mistake. And these are the things we talk about all the time here on MMT. They should get you fired. Okay, I should not walk into my job at Sony tomorrow if I was the one who said, let's make this R. You're fired. You're fired. You're out. I mean, it's over. There's no way that you can justify that decision because the movie doesn't even benefit from that. It's so boring, right? It's a slog, action set pieces, dull, everything about this film forgettable, and then you tack the R rating on to limit your audience. That was dumb. I mean, I can't even give you on a scale of 1 to 100, the level of stupidity to make this R is way up into the 90s. So again, you're fired. I'm telling you, we need to be more vicious. This town needs to be more savage with firing people because they are inept. And this town is full of ineptitude. Tons. Everywhere you look, untalented people in positions. So this film, other than the fact that it was just made, R is terrible. The film itself takes itself too seriously, like we talked about back on Thursday. It should have been more fun. And no one here is enjoying themselves from Rhino to Kraven. The only person who is entertaining this, Russell Crowe. If you guys bothered to see it, I told you guys what I would do. I would take Russell Crowe from Kraven and put him in Tenet and take Branagh and put him in Kraven because Russell Crowe's better than Branagh as the Russian oligarch. So that's what I would do. These are little things that would make a film better. Tenet deserves to be better. Kraven's forgettable. And I'm not saying that Branagh's terrible in Tenet. I'm just telling you, Crowe's better. You watch this, the only thing that's good is Russell Crowe. Okay? I mean, Luis, the reality is I could go in and fire so many people. If they ever allowed me to come into a studio as the manager for the day, and said, here's what we want you to do. Get rid of the fat. Trim it fat. I would pull everyone in just like Up in the Air. I'm George Clooney. I'm bringing people in. I'm saying your position's being eliminated. And then I'd explain, and I wouldn't even be as kind as Clooney as he was when he went in there and tried to massage the firing so they wouldn't turn it around and then get in trouble in a lawsuit, trying to just get them to go away. Well, I would be completely combative in there. I'd be like, how do you justify your salary of $250,000 when you make boneheaded, dumb fuck decisions like making Kraven R? How do you do that? And then they're like, oh, Weber, you can't be doing this. I'm doing it right now. You can't. I'm in the middle of the meeting. Don't tell me what I can do. Answer the question, 250,000 dunce. Can you answer it? You can't. Hit the road. Okay? And if they wanted to throw fists, I'd be ready for that. This is why it's never going to happen. This is all, listen, it's hyper real. It wouldn't really happen like this, but I would definitely not be kind. I would have to get in a parting shot or two and say, you're dumb. The decisions you've made here are really unbelievable. Nepotism, right? That's one certainly evil of Hollywood. When you have people in positions of power who are not talented and they're there because they know somebody or they fuck somebody. Okay, that's reality. Okay, go back to Weinstein. Okay. You don't think the casting couch still exists across the board in all kinds of places here in Hollywood? Good Lord, of course it does. So, okay, and then you throw the box checking in, and then you have a recipe for exactly what we end up with, studios in trouble because you have people making decisions they shouldn't be making because they're not talented. They're not talented. Well, yes, Dieter, because you have, man, here's the reality. If you want to get things done in this world, you cannot be happy-go-lucky, kind. Oh, it's everyone. I'm not saying go out of your way to be an asshole, but you gotta be strong and firm and know that what you're doing is the right decision. The best football teams over the history of that sport have been built by general managers that are ruthless and will do anything within their power to win, and they will get the people that they want in that organization to lead them to greatness. You go back and you look at all the teams, the Belichick teams, go back even to Pete Carroll, Seahawks played tonight when they were firing. When you go back, Bill Walsh, obviously the 49ers throughout the years, anytime you get a team that is a juggernaut, Andy Reid, Chiefs, you're talking about an entire team across the board, every single position, both on the field and in the front office, that has the same vision and typically is not going to be making decisions based on, oh, someone's feelings might get hurt. Too fucking bad. Are you kidding me? This younger generation, as soon as you hurt someone's feelings, oh, I'm so sorry. Go to the fucking corner and cry. I don't give a shit. Gen X was raised where shit hits us and we just keep going. We don't stop. I'm not worried about film Twitter coming after me. Oh no, nerd ass film Twitter's coming after me. Oh my God, I don't know how I'm going to exist today playing volleyball with all my boys down at the beach today. I don't know how I got through today getting out and touching grass, not thinking at all about what some fucking dork on film Twitter has to say. I don't give a shit. Give me a break. Like I give a shit. Come on. Weber, what does taking roles like this hurt someone like Aaron Taylor Johnson's chances of landing James Bond? It's a great question. Sully, by the way, stop making me laugh in the middle of the streams. Your comments the other day, too good. Even this morning, just stop. I'm trying to get stuff done, and I'm in the middle of a roast. And then I look up, and we're talking about 67 out of 69. Well, that was a joke segment. That was perfect for that. But it's a great question. Here's the thing. Anytime you're involved with a film like Kraven the Hunter that tanks as epically as we just saw, then you are looking at something that is, you have the stink. You've got the Kraven stank on you. And because of that, Aaron Taylor Johnson, his price, if anything, his price just went down, right? So if he was pushing for Bond and he's wanting 15, 20 million a picture, like, you're in Kraven, we'll give you 7 for the first. You lose money. JC Chandor, good luck finding another job. Dude, why did you, again, I'm sorry, I will do the entire hour hammering JC Chandor. Dude, that was the dumbest decision for you to agree to direct this. I don't know, first of all, where do you even get the name JC Chandor after watching Margin Call in A Most Dangerous Year? Why would you even pick him? Why would he want to do it? Remember, listen, you have to be the right fit. Guys, if they ask me to get on a show and talk about politics all day, let's talk about the drones, like, for 2 hours, like Alex Jones. Every time I look on Twitter, right, they got all the live shit. And of course, I think I'm one of them right now. You've got Alex Jones 24 hours a day talking about drones and stirring shit up and all. I'm like, good Lord, I don't want to do that. I don't care how much you pay me. I don't want to sit around and talk about the fucking drones. I don't know what the drones are about. I know this. They want us to talk about the drones, which makes me not want to talk about the drones. As soon as they make you try to talk about something, you're like, well, I don't want to talk about that. Isn't that interesting, right? You don't think you get fed the topics they want you to talk about. So Aaron Taylor Johnson, this was a big error, obviously, incredible miscalculation of him, his agent, his manager, everybody who agreed to do this film. These are the things that can't happen if you want to have a career in Hollywood. You can't do these things. Same thing with Dakota Johnson and Madam Web. We would go back to that. What did I tell you guys? I told you guys she should have never made that film. And again, tonight, it's exactly where I'm at on this. You have to be protective of where you are going to fit. Again, I'm not going to go to a show that talks about politics for 2 hours. I can talk about the overall picture, but I don't want to talk about the, niche shit that goes on in the political space. It doesn't interest me. I do love discussing from time to time here the bigger issues. Just certainly the COVID, railing against all that, the lockdowns, all that. Of course I'll do that. But that's right. That's more of a big picture kind of thing. It applies to a lot of stuff. I don't want to talk about the political landscape in DC. I mean, I'm not a political science major, and I still just I don't want to do it. It literally Joker gun to the head. So as such, we're not going to do that. Get ready. It is time. We move directly into one of my favorite films of the year. It's time for the MMT evaluation of September 5th. This is a film that deals with the 1972 taking of hostages in Munich at the Olympics. We've seen it covered before, but not from this angle. Here's the trailer for September 5th.
Ready, camera one. Hit it.
Good morning. I'm Jim McKay speaking to you live from the Olympics in Munich, West Germany.
Talk me through the day.
So it's a volleyball, then there's boxing.
Good. It's America versus Cuba.
Sure you want to bring in the politics?
It's not about politics. It's about emotions. And we're clear. Great job, everyone. Do you hear that?
Were those gunshots?
What's the situation?
The police are reporting that armed terrorists have attacked the Israeli athletes.
There's a hostage situation going on right now in the Olympic Village.
As you can see from the trailer, based on a true story, you are looking at how ABC Sports handled that situation with the terrorist organization coming in, getting the Israeli Olympians, and then we all know the story of what happened there in Munich in 1972. But because of the way this story is told through the eyes of the journalists, at ABC Sports, how do we cover this? How do we keep our broadcast, because this is the first time that this has ever happened where they were covering it live, right? Go back to 1972. You didn't have the capability to cover things the way that we do now. And that is one of the most interesting threads that runs throughout this film. The journalistic ethics of how do we cover this, and what if someone gets their head blown off as we are showing this live to 900 million people around the globe. Remember, back in 1972, there were 3 channels, right? Throw PBS, 4 channels total on your television set, and you didn't have options like you have tonight. You got a million streamers, a million podcasts, a zillion channels. NFL football was just on. Back then, all you had were the 3 networks and maybe PBS if it was still on the air that late at night. So this film deals with that constant struggle by these producers that are in the middle of the story that is breaking. And these producers are not used to dealing with hard news, right? They're dealing with sports. They're covering it for ABC Sports, but all of a sudden it turns into a news story. Let me tell you why this film resonated with me, maybe more than others. And I've talked about this before, what I've done in my life, right? I used to be in TV news. I have been in control rooms. I know what that feels like. And everything in this film is set inside that crucible of that control room where the decisions are being made lightning quick, and you have to be so fast with your decisions, and sometimes they may not be the right decision, but you do the best with what you have at that moment. And there's a constant going back to that journalistic ethics discussion. When you look at them in there, you've got Skarsgård, you've got performances here that across the board are extremely strong. It is an ensemble play, as you're seeing from critics groups. And here's the problem, though, that I'm seeing. I'm not seeing it as a best film. It's easily a best film, but the performances unilaterally across the board are strong. And that's why it has to be an ensemble play. It reminds me a lot of Saturday Night, right? Very similar. Basically, Saturday Night's more of, live. You're watching the build up to the show. This is a little bit stretched out over the days, but it still has the same kind of feel, obviously more heavy on the drama than an SNL movie. But I like both films, but I like September 5th more because of what I'm talking about with the ideas of what is the right thing to do. Should we go with this before we get another source? I talk about this all the time. We have lost our way in journalism, right? When I used to be in TV news and throughout even my entire career doing this in film, discussing this, I have always worked with the objective of being objective. I have to cover both sides. And then when it's time to give you my opinion, then I'm going to give it to you, but it's going to be based on all the facts that are in front of me. And I think that that is something that so many people in this world cannot seem to master these days because they want to be so tribal. And we've talked about so many times here on MMT. I have no interest in being tribal. This is not an anti-woke channel. It's not a pro-woke channel. This is neither. This is discussing film for me and what is the truth in these evaluations and the business of it, and trying to remain as distant as possible from it. And then once I realize where we should be on the gavel drop, then I'm going to be there. And I think the problem is once you've already started down one side, whether you are leaning toward the left or to the right, you're not going to be able to stay objective. You're going to be biased and have an agenda. And this is where this film, I think, really performs at a high level, is bringing that to you, this feeling of let's get this story and let's cover it to the best of our ability without trying to get too much politics into it. I think one of the discussions that comes up early in this film is, what should we call these guys who came in and took the hostages? They said terrorists. And then someone's like, well, that's a little strong. Like, no, they're terrorists, right? They are trying to create a political movement through violence. And that is another fascinating discussion that happens here. One of the huge things that you'll see during this film, and I can't wait for you to see it when it gets to you in January. What Paramount's doing with this is a platform. They did 7 screens in New York, LA this weekend, including Burbank. So I was able to see it. In fact, I actually was invited to see this like 3 months ago, and I put it off until it actually dropped. I love being able to talk about these films when they are relevant to you and the ability for you to see them. Now, this is still a few weeks early for a lot of you, but it's a lot better than me talking about it back in October. See, this is why now I try to see these things closer to the actual drop date rather than months and months early, because by the time I get to the movie, when it comes out, I'm already done talking about it. But when you look at the editing in this film, you have to seamlessly weave the 1972 footage in with all the stuff that you're doing here in the film and make it look as if it's all part of the same product. And that's not easy, right? You've got Jim McKay from 1972, and you're using his footage, but you're using the control room from what we shot today, and then you're blending the two. And when there is a moment where you have to go to McKay or to Peter Jennings, who is in this film as well, obviously one of the finest newsmen we ever saw at ABC News, he's covering it from right there at the athlete complex. And you have to blend a little bit of that. You see a little bit of Jennings later. That's done very well. This director has not done anything really huge before, but I'm telling you, this is one of the best directed films this year as well. And that gets back to the decisions that you see and the editing. These are all, obviously, you guys know, directorial choices. And these are calls made by him. I'm impressed. I want to see what's next. In this film, by far one of the best films of the year, 92% for me, which is an A-. And I'm listen, it's a high recommend. And typically, you know, I like to bring in the MMT fix now. How would I fix this film? I really don't have any major notes for this film. Okay. I mean, yes, am I at 100? No. But the reality is this, is that this film is the best version of what they put on the page they could get. So what else do you want? I don't have a note beyond that, right? If that's where you can meet that threshold of creating essentially the ideal version of what you set out to make, then I have no notes. I have nothing major. Argo, yes, Rob, great point. Very much like an Argo. And again, I think what I was most impressed by is this director. When I was looking it up, I'm like, who's this director? I've never seen anything. I've never heard of this guy. And to show that you can toil away with films and then all of a sudden show the world, hey, guess what? Look what I'm doing now. That's impressive. I go back to Ty West, right? Remember Ty West, I remember The Innkeepers, Salt in Boston back in 2011, 2012. Not impressed. Very unimpressive film. And then you watch X, you're like, damn, man, what you been doing, Ty? This is very much the same kind of thing. You go and you look at a director who shows up out of nowhere, essentially, and you're like, wow, I am very much impressed. And again, one of the best films of the year. Go see this thing when it gets to you in January. I think it's mid-January for the majority of you. All right, let's do a trailer react real quick and some more comments. And this is one of the best trailers I have seen. I want to say ever. I mean, I'm not kidding you guys. This is one of the best trailers you'll ever see. I was blessed, and I do mean blessed, to see this on the big screen in Dolby just days ago. If you haven't seen this yet, Danny Boyle's back. He is one of the most underrated, if not the single most underrated director working, and it's been too long. He's back working with Alex Garland. Here comes 28 years later. Be prepared to be blown the fuck away.
Auntie, what's going on? Jimmy, sit still, keep quiet, and do not move from the spot.
Okay, Great, right? We already know what the beginning is. If you saw it 28 weeks later, huge recommendation for me. I think it's better than Days. I know how some of you don't. I'm just telling you, it's a bigger scope. I think it's maybe, if not the best zombie movie, it is top 5, 28 weeks later. Same kind of thing. Everyone's just here in the house. We're huddled in, and then bang, all hell breaks loose. This is where the trailer and the edits, and I'm going to show you where they got the audio from this. I found it, and I'm going to play a little bit of it. Here is where the trailer and editing comes in at a level that is Oscar-worthy if we had Oscar-worthy trailers.
7, 6, 11, 5, 9 and 20 miles today, 4, 11, 17, 32 the day before. Boot, 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 moving up and down again. There's no discharge in the war. Don't look at what's in front of you. Boot, 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 moving up and down again. Men,
Perfectly synced, right?
Men go mad.
Every shot on the beat.
There's no discharge in the war. If your eyes drop, they will get the top of you. Boot, 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 moving up and down again. There's no discharge in the war. Try to think of something different. Oh, tired, feet are going lunatic. Moving up and down again. There's no discharge in the war. 7, 6, 11, 5, 4.
Is that not one of the best trailers you've ever seen? It's mind-blowing how great that is. The edits, we talked about editing September 5th, right? The edits in this trailer are so perfectly synced, right, with the rhythmic cadence of that poem. And I found it. So check it out. This is on Wikipedia. I got a burp. There it is. Here it is. Look, so this is from a 1915 recording. It sounds dated, right? You're like, what is this? It's a poem. Boots, listen to this, and you can hear what the poem's about, and then we can discuss it a little bit. Here, listen to this. Here it is. It's only on one side, by the way, the audio.
Entitled Boots. Those of us who have never been engaged in actual warfare have very little idea of some of its worst horrors. One of the most terrible being the agonized impression made upon the minds of the infantry soldiers during the long forced marches.
So essentially, right, it's mono. It's only on that left side. If you're listening to that, it's kind of hard to hear. If you did hear it, here's what it is, right? The poem essentially is about the horrors of war, right? And how psychologically it will wreck you, and then you can't even continue. And obviously, we all know from 28 days and weeks and now years, that is the emphasis of what Boyle and Garland are going to deliver here. It's by far my most anticipated film of the year, right? When you look at this, you talk, how many times, you guys know, listen, while everybody's all of a sudden coming back to Danny Boyle, I was talking about Danny Boyle since day one on this channel. I've talked about Yesterday. I've talked about Millions. Obviously, we talk Slumdog, duh. We talk about Trance. I named that. He is the most versatile director in Hollywood. Okay, the most talented as well. Nobody is better at delivering different genres than Danny Boyle. Go watch Yesterday. If you give Yesterday to anybody but Danny Boyle, disaster. Danny Boyle's directorial vision, choices, and assembly and calibration of that film make it far better than it should be. It shouldn't really work. That's the talent of an elite director in Danny Boyle. And you've got him reteamed here with Alex Garland. Listen, Alex Garland as a director, not impressive. As a writer, yes. Ex Machina is his best film. Civil War is not impressive at all from a directorial standpoint. At the end, maybe you're going to say, okay, a little bit of that when they're in DC. The rest of it, no, nothing. Not cinematography, not edits. The choices are bad. Danny Boyle is everything Alex Garland is not when it comes to a director. So we talk about this. You have your strengths. Danny Boyle, strength director, and Garland, strength writer, unless it's men, and then it's terrible. But if you put Garland in the ex machina space, in that, annihilation space, he will deliver with somebody that is as uniquely talented as Danny Boyle. So, yes, we are super stoked for this. You should be too. I am as high as, and we have until what? Like, I think it comes out is it summer? We got forever. It'll come by this week. Listen, it's a masterpiece of a trailer. It is. It's a masterpiece. A little, right, Quiet Place, similar, end of the world, Armageddon, you got to survive. The difference is, right, go back. If you have not watched 28 Weeks Later, guys, you have to watch that film. Okay, watch it. Come back next time we have next Sunday, because during the week we're going to do other movies. So I really want to discuss it next Sunday. If you haven't seen 28 Weeks Later, come back, give me your impressions. The helicopter scene alone is going to blow it. You're going to, damn, that's so good. And remember, back 28 Weeks Later, you look, and I know that's not Danny Boyle directed, okay? I know that director was very talented. What happened to him? Like, after watching that, I'm like, how did that guy not blow up into something huge? Kind of disappeared, if I'm not mistaken. I go back and look at the IMDb page. But you look at that, you look at Jeremy Renner, you look at Idris Elba, Rose Byrne, you've got all these stars in that thing. And then the movie delivers. It's just a bigger scope than Days. And this is going to go to an island. We'll probably go off the island, which I think I understand now. Like you say, Sadvik, it has that Quiet Place island thing, right? There's always that interest of, we've isolated ourselves on an island, and now someone's on the island and we're fucked because there's no way off the island. That's always going to be profuse with fear. How do I get out of here as fast as possible when there's no way to go? No place, no escape. That's a great starting point. And then, of course, you can go to the mainland and then open it up and see the ravages of 28 years of this zombie plague to mainland Britain. 28 Weeks Later takes place in London. And if you haven't seen it, they come back in and get everything sterilized. And then guess what? Another outbreak. So good. What a great film. Danny Boyle, Jeff, 100%. Millions is a beautiful film. One of my favorite films that no one has seen. So if you haven't watched Millions, we've made it an MMT must-see before. Make it again tonight. Millions is a beautiful film. At the end of that film, when the little boy and mom, I'm just telling you, if you don't cry at that moment, I question whether you're a human being, because that moment is so powerful. Millions is perfection. It's got so many wonderful elements. And again, back to Danny Boyle, the visionary director. Visionary. He is a top 5. No one talks about him. You all talk about Tarantino working now. You talk about a Bong. You talk about a Nolan. No one talks about Danny Boyle. Now they are. Because of this. We didn't need this. I didn't need this to know Danny Boyle. You just were all falling asleep. None of you even praised yesterday. Yesterday's fun. Thank you. Thank you, Johnny. You've been here the whole time. Everyone was now. This is the, can I just say, and we're going to go on and we'll do the next thing. So I have another evaluation here tonight with the order, and then I'll go into open comment time. I want to talk about Tarantino because he did blast fanboys, which of course I'm going to love. Here's what I'm going to tell you: is when you look at this film and handing it to the team that has it, that is where you want to be. And from day one, we've been all over Danny Boyle, and it does feel nice. Even if Film Twitter just arrived today, right? That's Film Twitter's, oh my God, number one thing. They always are late. They always are like, I've always been loved Danny Boyle. You never talk about Danny Boyle. I talk about Danny Boyle for years here. I've been talking about Danny Boyle. Go back to read my tweets about yesterday. Before that, Millions, Trance, on and on and on. We played the song from Trance here to open. I'll play it again. I love that song. Here it comes. Listen, again, Trance, from a directorial standpoint, lights out. Screenplay, a little confusing. You can follow it, but it takes a lot. Listen, again, no one is more talented and more versatile at delivering different genres and as expertly as Danny Boyle. He is that great. A great point. John Magaro's fantastic in September 5th. exactly. Did you see it yet, Sully? I'm sure they showed it to you there in Boston. You go to the screen. I just see him at AMC now. You saw Craven. Good luck, Cardell. You saw Craven. Good fucking luck to you. You survived. Although if we listen to our good friend Grace Randolph, she thinks it's amazing, right? Oh, I'd watch it again. What? You do? Excuse me. You do what? You'd watch what again? No, you would not watch it again. There's no chance in hell. You couldn't pay me to watch that movie again. Okay, it is time. Let me search for it. I don't have the trailer up. This is a me bad. I apologize. The Order trailer. Here we go. Get ready. It's time for another MMT evaluation. We do these live as always. I saw this the other night, and I've got this guy on my screen. Give me 1 second to get him off, and then we're going to get the trailer going. This is a film from Vertical Entertainment. Those of you who've been watching us all year long know that Vertical is home to one of our favorite films of the year, Asphalt City. Can this live up to the standard that Asphalt City set? Here comes the MMT evaluation of The Order.
Revolution. Someone has to fire the first shot.
Open the safe now! Now!
Let's go!
Sheriff Laughlin, Terry Husk. I had a question about some flyers I keep seeing. White power. Is that the Aryan Nation?
You know what my problem is with every fanatic?
You have to have somebody to blame for your life.
You know those pamphlets you saw? It's not all. This was in June. A bomb went off at a synagogue in Boise. That's just the beginning.
Beginning of what?
This book holds our birthright.
It tells the story of a group of white separatists raging a race war against the United States government.
And there's a taste of it. I'll leave it up in the background. Listen, any film that is super grounded, okay, in look and feel, I'm in on, right? So just like Asphalt City, another Vertical film that's grounded, looks great, looks like a true piece of cinema, right? The look of the film, the feel of the film. I'm in the movies. I'm at the movie theater, right? I'm at the movies. I'm not watching something shot on an iPhone. This looks really good, okay? So that is obviously a positive. I always love something like that. So that works. Also, there's a Heat-esque narrative. Okay, so if you're asking me, what is that? It's very much of a Heat setup. Jude Law is Pacino, and Nicholas Hoult is De Niro, okay, as they're going after each other, FBI agent versus white supremacist / money launderer / bad dude, bank robber, and he's chasing him throughout the Pacific Northwest, based on true story. All of this is very good, okay? And Jude Law is I think it's one of his best performances. It's nice to see him give me something that's a little bit, I mean, not that he hasn't done dark before, but this is a role that you would, as you see him right there, you wouldn't necessarily pick Jude Law first. He's such, again, go back to Danny Boyle, versatile. Same thing with Jude Law. You could put him in virtually anything, and he's going to be believable. Okay, I also like his mustache in this. That was also a selling point. But Jude Law deserves some love from some awards group for this. Nothing. I don't understand how films like this, and again, listen, this year it's one of the better films. We've had some bad films. This is better than Anora. Shit. I mean, what is it? Seriously. I might want to watch Kraven again before I watch Anora. Anora fucking sucks. Here's the thing. Is why do these films get swept under the rug? I don't understand how they don't. Because you know why? Because they're from Vertical Entertainment. And we have a bunch of people in the space that are like, well, I don't know. Vertical Entertainment isn't good. I don't care what the label is. Show me the film, and then I'll tell you if it's good. I don't care if it's from A24 or Neon or Vertical. If the film's strong, then it's strong. What's it matter if it's from A24? Certainly, A24's had the worst year they've ever had. I want to mention something else. And this is, by the way, this is where Weber, watch out. Weber's going to say something's going to get in trouble. Vertical. I don't, because this is true. Think about this. No other critic would say this. I'm going to say it because it's true. Vertical has now had Asphalt City and The Order, and I believe they have another horror film that's coming out. You know what I noticed in their films? They have a lot of white people. Now, let me tell you something. Let me explain. I don't care. I'm noticing something. Let me explain that to you so you understand why I'm pointing that out. And this is important. This is what you'll get from me and no one else. When you have a studio who looks for the best possible film, period, not trying to check boxes, not trying to promote an agenda, then guess what? You end up with a solid film. The problem with A24, and I've railed them about it, and I'll do it again, they are such a virtue signaling, and I don't go here, but I'm going to go here. They are so fucking woke that it makes you just want to regurgitate all over the fucking place. They need to dial back on their virtue signaling bullshit at A24. It is nonstop from that studio. And I'm not even the anti-woke guy. And let me explain what woke means. Woke means you have a film that is promoting some kind of agenda that involves some kind of box checking or some kind of marginalized group. You have to watch this because I don't have to watch anything. Do not tell me I have to watch a movie because it is from a female director. Do not tell me I have to watch a movie because it is from, I don't care. I'm going to watch a movie because it's good. Do not promote that shit to me. Show me a good movie, okay? And the thing is verticals, like some studios, I guarantee, trust me, even though no one's going to ever admit this, they'd be like, well, it's a lot of white people in a movie. I don't think we can do this. Why? Why can't you? Who cares? Right? Conversely, look at a movie. I can't wait to see Nickel Boys coming up. Conversely, I'm sure it's a great film. I hear, but again, I'm not seeing it because of its subject or because of the race of the cast. I'm watching a good movie. When you are a movie distributor, you should not give a shit. So if the order comes to you and it's full of a white cast, who cares? You know, I'm telling you, they'll never admit it. They'll never admit it. So don't even bother. Or you have no proof of that. It doesn't matter. Do you think they're going to admit that? Do you think A24 or Neon's going to tell you we passed on a movie because there are too many white people? Of course they're not going to tell you that. Of course they're not going to tell you that. I got another story. You want to play that game? Let's play that game. Do you remember another round from a few years ago? Remember another round? Okay. Remember Mads and everybody? It ended up winning Oscar. Guess who ended up with that? Samuel Goldwyn. And I'm telling you, it's because some of the studios saw it and go, too many white people in this. I'm going to tell you something. There is the mentality that will destroy Hollywood. If you are putting a limit on what you'll release and what you'll make because it doesn't fill quotas or it doesn't look how you want your agenda to look, then you're out. You're out. I don't want you you're not even working at my studio. I want you out of here. If someone comes into a meeting with me and they ever say, we have to start checking this box and that, I'm going to tell you right now, you're fired. I don't care. You're out of here. Get out. Get out now. You're not working here anymore. We're not doing that shit. Is the actor good? Does it make sense in the role? Then we're doing it. Do not tell me I have to put X, Y, or Z in my movie. It's never going to happen. I told you guys before, if they ever brought me into a group like, hey, you're in the writer's room, you can go ahead and bring whoever you want in there. I'm bringing in the most talented people. If they tell me you don't have enough X or Y, I'm going to say, I don't give a shit. How dare you? How dare you tell me that I'm picking my writers? Oh, they're all whatever it may be. That's not going to happen. You're not going to tell me that because I know who I am. And I know how I operate and I know how I evaluate people. It's not based on the color of their skin. It's not based on their sex. It's not based on whether they're heterosexual or homosexual or transsexual. It doesn't matter. Are they talented, man? What are we doing? I didn't even know I was going to go here. I was just going to talk about but you tell me I'm right. Tell me, you know damn well I'm right. And then Weber's going places he shouldn't go. Too fucking bad. I'll go wherever. Yes, jerk, there's a lot of white people on September 5th. But there is one central character who does a lot, has a big role that is not. So, but yeah, listen, but my point is if you know damn well that's what happens. You know damn well. Don't tell me it doesn't. There's not going to say that. That's the problem. If you talk to any filmmaker off the record, they're going to tell you that they had some kind. That's right. My God, I like 2 movies with a lot of white people. You racist son of a bitch. You're just like the Aryan Nation people in no order. And I'm sure someone in film Twitter will say that because, of course, we all choose the color of our skin, right? We all choose that when we're born. I think I'd like to be a white guy. You don't get a fucking choice. What are we doing here? So you don't, that's not something you use. I don't use it to, when I started this channel, do you think I ever thought for a second, well, geez, I might be able to succeed because I'm a white guy? Who the fuck thinks like that? That's so messed up, man. Who thinks like that? I have never valued a person more or less, again, based on their genetic makeup. The only, I will admit something. If someone looks like Jabba the Hutt and they've not taken care of themselves, I tend to be a little bit prejudiced. I'm not, at least I'm honest. At least I'm honest. Because I believe that's a choice, right? Just like me going to the gym 5 days a week is a choice. Is it not? Is it not? I can promise you this. The Jabba the Hutt looking motherfucker, if he went to the gym 5 days a week, wouldn't look like that. They don't do the work. So, yeah, of course I'm going to be a little biased. That's not racial. You're fat shaming. Too fucking bad. I work hard. I go to the gym. They can too. Sorry. No, I'm not going to apologize for that. I'm not going to apologize. Never going to apologize for that. Yes, some people have genetically a harder time. Doesn't matter. You still have to do the work. There's a guy at my gym who comes in and he probably weighs 400 pounds. At least 400. But he used to weigh 500. He's been coming in every day. And it's a struggle for him. He comes in with his cane. He comes in and he's barely able to get in there. But he's making an effort. And that's all you have to ask for, man. Make the effort. So that's yes. So yes, I'm going to be if you're doing the work and you're trying, that's all that matters. Okay, it's that simple. By the way, I lost my producer tonight. He Gone Girl, I think, is coming out to LA, so we're gonna hang. It's gonna be really fun. But he had to leave. He's leaving. The art director for Avowed, an upcoming video game, has literally been saying less white people should be in the industry, actively trying to help black artists replace him one day. Vault of the Future. This is not. I don't want this person around. I don't want this person in my space. I don't want someone that's racist. It's a racist person. How is it not? Of course it's racist. Oh, help me out. Can you guys explain to me how is that not? How is that not? I would never, listen, if I was picking my successor for MMT, I would never limit it to, well, it has to be someone who is white, who is over the age of 40, who is whatever, right? You're like, who's the best? Let's have auditions. Let's do American Idol. And no, don't even get me started. It's a broken mindset. And here's the deal. If you are operating with that mindset, I don't want to hang out with you. I don't want any part. We're never going to, I don't even want to be in your space. You go this way, I'm going to go that way because I will never operate with someone who has those parameters in play. It is the antithesis of how I want to operate. So I will not partake in that shit. I will partake in who's the best. It's merit, end of discussion. It's a win again for me. I'm never wrong on that. I'm 100% right. I'm so jealous of everyone who managed to see The Brutalist. I'm eager to see what Corbett has managed to do on such a low budget. It's coming soon. I've been waiting for this. Keenan, welcome to the channel, by the way. Here's the deal. Brutalist is 3 hours and a half, right? That's a long movie. I'm not watching that outside of a recliner. There's no way I'm going to sit through The Brutalist at the DGA, at one of these screening rooms that you're like crunched in there, and I can't recline. I can't have access to the restroom quickly and get back in there. That's why I put this thing off. I was invited to The Brutalist 2 months ago, multiple times. I canceled because I was like, I don't want to, again, sit through 3 hours, not in a recliner. I've told you guys, I'm not doing this where I'm running around. And Keenan, I understand you're jealous. Don't be jealous of these people because ultimately, you're going to see the movie, and the fact that someone saw it 3 months early, I understand you want to see it, but let me walk you through this. Don't care so much about seeing these things early. These people do. I've been there. I've done it. It's actually not beneficial for the conversation that needs to be had about these films. If you're talking about The Brutalist 3 months ago, 2 months ago, a month ago, and it comes out in a week for some of us and beyond that for the rest of you, it's not really advantageous to talk about The Brutalist 2 months early. I know for the nerds out there in film Twitter, it's like their calling card, like it's some kind of badge of honor. Ultimately, here's the question. Are you making crazy cash by going to see it 3 months early? If you're not, why are you doing that? All because it gives me bragging rights for who? I don't care. For your other film Twitter nerds, I don't fucking care. And frankly, I'm not calling you a film Twitter nerd. You understand what I'm saying. Just, I personally prefer now to watch these things within 2 weeks of their debut, right? 2 weeks, or that Thursday when it opens for you guys. It's fresh. It's now. We're going to see A Complete Unknown on Wednesday. A lot of you have a chance to see it. It's got an IMAX preview. If you haven't had tickets, go get them. They're selling out fast. Wednesday night, we'll have a reaction to A Complete Unknown. I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to tell you right now, guys, listen, straight up, I am not sold on Chalamet. I think that he is acting. He is not being. He is not actually the character. You can feel him outside of it. I'll let you know. Listen, I'm just telling you what I've seen from him. If he's able to lose himself into Dylan, which the trailer does not show me, if he's able to, I will come on here Wednesday and tell you. If not, I'm going to hammer Chalamet. I'm going to destroy Chalamet on Wednesday. If I see any weaknesses within the facade of Bob Dylan that he's created, I'm here to tell you it's going to be bad for Timothy Chalamet on Wednesday here, because I'm already ready. Because too many people have given Chalamet a pass. Chalamet is not exceptional outside of roles that he is basically being himself. If you ask him to step outside of his non-Timothy Chalamet persona, and you're going to call me by your name, Chalamet. Go back to Lady Bird, Chalamet. Even Dune. But when you ask him to play Wonka, he's bad in Wonka. Okay, he is definitely not Johnny Depp. He's definitely not Gene Wilder. He is not great in Wonka because he's stiff. Chalamet cannot, for the life of him, he cannot shake it off and do it like we do it live here. If I were playing like Chalamet, everything would feel like I'm in a fucking straitjacket. That is how he operates. And I'm telling you, I don't know if Mangold got it out of him. I don't know if he was able to. We're going to find out Wednesday, but I'm here to tell you, if it's not there, Chalamet is going to be slammed hard on Wednesday here on MMT. It's not going to be pretty, because he deserves it. Because too many people, including Club Chalamet, who is, of course, my friend Simone, I'm just here to tell you, you listen, I don't care what fan you, I'm a fan of Boyle. If Boyle and 28 Days Later, weeks, years later, is not a great film, I am going to be very critical of Danny Boyle. Do you see? You can't be so close to something that you can't critique it. You can't. That's why now, as a reviewer and as somebody who really doesn't want any kind of connection to these filmmakers, because the problem is once you have that personal connection, I can't come on here and destroy them the way I want to. Now, listen, I'm not destroying them personally. Chalamet in his life doesn't matter. But if you're going to be Bob Dylan in a movie, if you're going to be Willy Wonka, you have to, listen, man, you got to own that shit. You have to realize that people are going to attack you if you are not great in that role. Now, I understand he's getting nominated, but I'm telling you, here's the world we live in. I've said it a million times, and it bugs me to no end. It really is a problem. We live in a world where somebody somewhere says this is the truth, and you all believe it, or you're all supposed to believe it. We've been told Timothy Chalamet is a movie star. I don't believe it, okay? I think he's picked very good projects. I think, obviously, if he weren't in Dune and someone else was in Dune, I think Dune would be just as good, right? I don't think Chalamet brings anything to the table that elevates a film. That is damning shit, man. What I just said is fucking damning. That is brutalizing, right? I just said you could plug and play another actor in for Chalamet in so many of his movies, and you would end up with a similar or maybe even better movie. It's true. Chalamet is not great. Okay, he is. Anybody who tells you Chalamet is one of our best actors, they are biased. They run Club Chalamet. Simone, I'm not dragging you tonight. I'm just saying, Simone, I'm just asking you, if you watch Timothy Chalamet in Complete Unknown, I know you've already seen it, and you legitimately had issues with it, you have to say that. I don't care if you run the club show. I don't care, guys. Listen, I have tons of allegiances to directors and writers that I like and I respect. If they write something bad, I'm going to hammer them. Okay, that's the thing. And that's why, Steve, I appreciate it. And that's exactly it, Steve. We're trying. It's all we're trying to do. Every day, just try to do a little bit better. But Chalamet is... Austin Butler's fantastic as Elvis. He's really good. Austin Butler, better actor than Timothy Chalamet. because Austin Butler loses himself in Elvis. You think you're looking at Elvis. When I'm watching the Bob Dylan, again, I know I'm ahead of myself. I'm going to see it Wednesday. I want you to know something. As much as I just drag Chalamet, as much as I've just said I don't believe in him, if I sit down and from frame one on Complete Unknown on Wednesday, he shows me everything that I didn't expect to see, and I see Bob Dylan and not Chalamet, then I will come on here and tell you, hell yeah. I am able, better than anyone in the space, to get back to zero. I always start at zero. And if I'm not able to get to zero, I'm not going to the movie, right? I've told you guys that. I've canceled movies because I'm not in the space to get me to a 100% level playing field, zero up on the scale. We are not starting at 50 because it's directed by a director we love. We're not starting at 75 because I run Club Chalamet. We are not doing that. We are starting at zero, and we're going to start building our evaluation from ground zero. It does not start ever before the film. What happened before Spielberg, name any director over the history of time. Look at Fabelmans. What happened with that film? Everyone was, it's Steven Spielberg. It's not a good film. That is by far his worst film. And the fact I was told it was a great film goes back to what I just said. We live in a world where people believe that your past equals your present. It does not. Ridley Scott, Michael Mann, Spielberg with that film. You got to understand, you're only evaluated on now. Would I expect you to evaluate my performance on this stream tonight, which is never good, but let's just say on the stream from 3 weeks ago, on the stream from 4 months ago, on the stream from a year ago? No, you would not do that. You would tune in and go, this guy's bad, period. And you're probably right to think that. But you would say from now, you wouldn't go, well, he's not good tonight. But you always are starting from zero. And that's what I kind of like about the live thing. It's like, it's always just a complete clean slate. Let's start again. And I don't ever think, well, the last show was good or bad. It doesn't, it's like a cornerback in the NFL. You just got beat for a touchdown. Let it go. It's gone. You're not even thinking about it. John Campia said many times he thinks Chalamet has potential. Why did I punch this up? I might get angry right now. Don't do it. Campia is a fucking fraud. Can I just say that? Send it to Campia. I think he's shaded me before. Campia, I will fucking destroy you. You can't even contend. So if I see you at Burbank, just remember that if you ever want to go head to head in a live, I will gut you like a fucking fish. You will lose. I don't care if you have 10 times the video. I don't give a shit. And by the way, this is why, by the way, can I say something? This is why there's not a lot of collabs with me, because I see it all as competition. But here's the truth. I don't attack certain people. I think Jeremy Johns is good at what he does. I don't really attack Jeremy Johns. I have attacked Stuckman for being boring. I've attacked Gray Stuckman for being whatever. I mean, reading a teleprompter. And Campia is a guy who you think knows what he's talking about. In truth, he doesn't really know. He's not right. He's not. Listen, he's not me. But here's the thing. He just doesn't. You think he's a fraud. He's a fraud. He's not a fantasy fraud. That's a whole nother level. But you see, this is the problem. So now we have our film fraud, Timothy Chalamet. He's an actor fraud. What do you guys want? What do you guys want? John Camp, my God, what a fucking good. Because you know what, Sully, I'm going to say this. Mangold, I do like as a technical director. Listen, I'm not in love with Logan. I like moments of Logan. I certainly, when he's having the aneurysm, that scene's unbelievable. There's a lot of stuff in that film. It has one of the worst villains ever in a film. Okay. When you look at Holbrook, who I guess is Johnny Cash in this movie. Can I ask you guys a question? Is it a little weird that every time, just hold on for a second. I just want you to follow me. Is it a little weird that every time Mangold makes a movie, you have Holbrook show up? I know that directors like to work, and it's happened before. We've seen it happen over time. It just seems a little strange. Why are you always casting Boyd Holbrook? That's his name, right? He's not good in Logan. Oh, he's sneering. Let me go get that Wolverine. That's how he is in a lot of movies. Hey, let me go get that guy. So I think when he does Johnny Cash, hey, man, I have faith in you, Dylan. I have faith in you. Yeah, man, Johnny Cash. I'm wearing black. That's what I'm gonna do. That's what, so I don't understand the fascination with Holbrook. I don't think he's the worst actor, but he's not good. Certainly not good in Indiana Jones. And Mangold, by the way, did I tell you, Mangold years ago came after me when I was on Twitter and I said something about what's his name's hair in the movie, and he's like, "Oh, that's so unprofessional." I don't give a fuck. James Mangold, don't tell me how to operate. Do not tell me how I can review a movie. How dare you? I don't give a shit. Like I'm gonna listen to I gotta worry about what James fucking Mangold says. I don't give a shit. I just said I like you as a technical director. I'm not gonna go. This is why I'll never be in Hollywood. I'm not gonna kiss anyone's ass. I don't care. I can say whatever I want. First of all, if as a director, you shouldn't even worry. If I was a director, you think I'd be on Twitter going back and forth with people saying your movie sucks? That's weird. Remember the guy who just made a movie, did that, and he almost got canceled? Don't do that. If you're a director, you're above it. If you're a star, you're above it. If you're Chalamet, you should not be on Twitter saying Weber's an asshole for saying that I'm a fraud. That's not good. Just leave it alone. You remember when I said that Everything Everywhere was overrated? And one of the Daniels came in on Twitter and says, thanks for watching our film. He deleted it. One of the Daniels deleted it because it's not worth it. It doesn't make you look good. I haven't even done that on Twitter. Someone's like, Weber did this. I go, I don't even care. Just go away. You don't even matter to me. Here's the thing. As a star, and I'm doing a fucking YouTube channel, having fun, just shooting the shit. I'm not a star. I'm not a director. So I think it's weird that anytime a director comes in, this is a great segue, by the way. What a perfect segue, you guys. Let's do it. Let's talk about Quentin Tarantino. But a director should not be like getting into it with fans. There's something weird about it. And here's Tarantino. Let's read what he had to say. Tarantino fires back at fanboys who called him a fucking asshole for praising Joker 2. Well, he's not alone. We praise Joker 2. We're one of the only channels, one of the only people out there, right? No one else had the balls to say Joker 2 is great cinema. It's very good. I don't care what they did to Arthur. Don't give me that shit. As a film, it is some lights out filmmaking, cinematography, edits, the look, the feel. I'm not saying the courtroom drama is perfect. Believe me, there's some things I'd change, but I want to watch a hell of a lot more Joker 2s than Avatar 2s, as I said at the time, and I maintain tonight. Why am I a fucking asshole? I like the fucking movie. That makes me a fucking asshole. You either like the movie or you don't. I'm not plugging the movie. I'm not doing anything. I'm just saying I like it. Who gives a fuck what I like? What do you care what the fuck I like? Then they say I'm a fucking asshole for not seeing something. What the fuck do you care what I see or don't see? Someone will say, well, I think he's missing out. Well, I'm sure there's a ton of shit I could say that you're missing out on, and I don't care if you miss out on. It's kind of listen, if we could ever get Tarantino on the channel, I think it'd be the best hour in the history of any streaming platform. We would get so down because he's just not. I'm going to ask him questions and get him fired up. First thing I'm going to ask him, and he's not going to want to come on, but I'm going to ask him, why did you not like Parasite? Because I told you guys my story. He doesn't like Parasite. Remember, let me walk. If you've never heard my Quentin Tarantino story, remember this. Whenever you're here on MMT, you see the mic flag, you see it here. Whenever you're watching, everything that gets said through this mic happened. I have never made up a story. It's never happened. Everything I say happened in real life. Here's what happened with Quentin Tarantino. This was a few years ago. I'll get to Jason. Thank you. I'm going to get to that in 1 second. Hold that right there. I'm going to get it up. Thank you for the super chat. It's coming in a second. Let me finish with Tarantino. Here's the story. I'm at the Frankenmusso's, which is an old school steak joint. Been here forever. It's down on Hollywood Boulevard. And it's a big event for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Okay, so we're all there in once. And Quentin Tarantino's there. Who else is there? Obviously, all the stars were there. You've got Leo walking around. I talked to Leo DiCaprio. That was exciting. I actually like Leo so a lot, so that was kind of fun. But when I ran into Tarantino, he's like a bolt of energy. You can see it in this quote. So I saw him, and I said, what are your favorite movies? It was 2019 when I saw him, before COVID. I said, what were your favorite movies this year? And he's like, Dr. Sleep, Crawl, and The Irishman. And I was like, okay, cool. That's neat. Because Crawl was, B movie, alligators, Florida, all that shit. And I go, okay, that makes sense. Dr. Sleep, I understand because, I get it. Weird, Flanagan, I get it. And also Irishman, Scorsese, it's too long, needs to be condensed, all that. But here's what I'm going to tell you. When I asked him, because at that point, everyone loved Parasite. Everybody. I knew Parasite was going to win. Because every single time I went to a party, I said, what's your favorite movie? Because I was like, have shoot the shit with people. Parasite. Every time. Top three. Joker, Parasite. They were always there. And what Joker and Parasite got the nominations. And here's what happened. He looked at me and he's like, I don't want to talk about it. I said, what? What? He almost looked like he was going to get violent with me. And I was like, I was taken aback because I was not expecting him to say it. He goes, I don't want to talk about it. And I was like, okay. I don't want to talk about it. Here's my theory. And this is what I'd ask him, and he'd have to answer. And this is why he wouldn't do the show. I think the reason he doesn't like Parasite. Here's my theory. Remember, he's played a lot of Bong's movies down at the New Bev and also at the Vista. You know, he's a Bong fan. I don't think he's as big a Bong fan anymore. Here's what I think happened. I think that Tarantino had a look. Bong said, hey, can you look at the script for Parasite? And Tarantino said, because think about this. The conclusion of Parasite is so Tarantino-esque, right? The sudden, complete jolt of violence, the build, and then wham. That is Tarantino. Every one of his films, right? The build, wham, right? I mean, you look Inglourious Bastards, right? Any film, you've got that build, and then it's like, you know, light the fuse and we're on. So Parasite feels like Tarantino finish. I think that Bong sent it to Tarantino. Tarantino said, here's what I would do, try this. And then Bong took it and did not credit Tarantino. That's my guess, because he was not happy when I mentioned Parasite. Tarantino was fucking pissed. And if you remember, let me recall, this is what you get from MT. I've told the story a lot of times. I wish Variety, THR, Deadline would go and talk to Tarantino about this. Whoever he did this podcast with, why don't you come on here and we'll talk about it? Because no one else can lay the story out like me. Because remember, during that award season, what was happening with Tarantino? Whenever Bong won, remember they had pictures of Tarantino looking away. Go back and look. Put in Tarantino and Bong. That award season, it was that whatever award show. There's a bunch of them. Every time Bong won, he would be looking like Tarantino's pissed. Because I just told you, I put it all together. If he's pissed at the theater, you know, when they announce the winner and he's there in the audience, he's looking like he's not happy with the decision. And then he tells me, I don't want to talk about it. We have a story, right? This is the journalism that I bring to the stage here on MMT and to the space that most people do not have. They don't have journalism and evaluation skills. Those are two different things. But I think what brings the evaluations and makes them very good here and stronger than the majority of people in the space is because we are journalistically looking at the film, and then we are also bringing it through the lens of the technical and all of the things that are going on. So there's a lot of stuff at play. But from a journalistic standpoint, there's a story, and I think that's what it is. And no one else is going to tell you this. I've said it multiple times on this channel. No one wants to give Weber credit because Weber's an asshole, except to Jason. Jason, thank you so much. I appreciate this. Jason, I love your champion of Decision to Leave. It is the best example of editing, cinematography, screenplay, acting. Listen. First of all, Jason, you get it. Decision to Leave is superior to Anora in every single facet of filmmaking. When you watch Decision to Leave, if you guys have never watched it, back to 2022, a film that was not even nominated for foreign language. The fact that film walked away with zero recognition that year, except for a few critics groups, Decision to Leave was by far one of the best films of 2022. Along with Tar. I remember I had Aftersun, Tar, and Decision to Leave. Those are your three best films of 2022. It wasn't a contest. It was certainly not Everything Everywhere. Those three films, all three of them bury Everything Everywhere. But let's take a step forward. Everything Everywhere buries Anora. I don't think you guys quite understand. And Jason, thank you for this. Not just Super Chat, the fact that you get it. All I care is that there's people out there that get it. Anora will go down as the most overrated, overvalued film in the history of Hollywood if it wins Best Picture. It will be a stain on the Academy's legacy that will never be forgotten. Ever. That is how fucking terrible Anora is. It is an embarrassment of a screenplay, and Sean Baker is a fraud of a writer. He is marginally talented at best, and I'm here to tell you that if you think that Anora is great cinema, is an outstanding screenplay, you are clueless, and you don't have, I will never listen to you about anything ever again. It'll never happen. One of my best friends, Paul, he likes Anora more than me. I'm telling you, I'm thinking about ending the friendship. When he told me he didn't hate it, I go, that's it. Because he's smart. I like Paul. He's very intelligent. Not on Anora. Anora, there is no room for negotiation. None. It is a zero. I'm not moving an inch off of that. Anora is a Razzie film, and the end of that film, you have let's just relitigate it quickly. I'm gonna only do the very end of this film. When you have Mikey's character the entire time being a one-note bitch, the entire film, not even for a nanosecond is she not a raging bitch. I could use a stronger word. I'm not going to use it because that'll get me in trouble. You know what I'm talking about. She is not pleasant. And the entire time she shows no layers of humanity. Then at the end, she's going to jump on the Russian and then screw him. And then she's going to cry. And the movie's going to end like this is some kind of and then you've got the rape jokes. I'm telling you guys, I will not live in a world where you tell me that Anora is a great film. I'm just you know, I want Fantasy to say it's the best film of the year. I want LA critics to say it's the best film of the year because at that point, I wouldn't have anything to do with any organization that even offered it up as a best picture. I told you guys I dropped out of Critics' Choice years ago, and I'm telling you, if I saw Anora on the best picture, I'm out. I'm leaving. Do you understand what it means to have standards and to stick to your word? I am going to be vindicated like I was with Everything Everywhere. Now through the lens, everyone's like, why didn't Tar win? Guys, I'm tired of doing this shit. I'm tired of always being on the right side of history. And I can promise you this, I'm on the right side of history. And Nora is truly the most overvalued and overrated and completely undeserving film of the praise it's receiving I've ever received. Decision to Leave fucking buries Anora, digs Anora up. Anora comes out of the well like Itchy and Scratchy, and Itchy blows Scratchy's brains out, and Anora goes back down the well, comes up again, and then Itchy chops off Scratchy's head. That's what it is. Literally, at this point, a desecration of a body. When you have Decision to Leave versus Anora, and you're going to talk about fucking Anora, and you're never going to talk about Decision to Leave, fuck that. I'm not doing that shit, and you're not going to tell me it's a good film because I know I'm right. It's a piece of shit. And Sean Baker, I love you as a technical director. As a writer, you'd be lucky to get handled by a marginal agent in this town if you were a nobody. That's how underwhelming your work is as a writer. You are by far the biggest fraud of a writer / director in the space. And guys, boy, that is, I mean, listen, Neon's never going to want to talk to me again. I don't give a shit. I can't believe that Can gave that the palm. I can't believe that Neon and Tom Quinn, who I think has really smart, he's really, really good guy when it comes to evaluating films. I don't believe he thinks that's a good film. I think if you cornered Tom Quinn and you gave the magic lasso to him, he'd be like, it's fucking terrible. I'm like, I told you, of course it is. But I don't have to have the magic lasso. I always have the magic lasso on. My whole life is the magic lasso. That's why I don't exist in Hollywood. They'd be like, you can't say these things. I just said it. What are you going to do? What? I just said it. What do you want me to do? I'm not going to walk it back. A couple more seconds. We're in here. Thank you again. You guys rock. Remember, Wednesday night, but Nora's better than... Listen, Everything Everywhere is better than Anora. That's all I'm going to give it. Scream 6 is better than Anora. Name a film. No, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm not going to do it. I know how you feel about Netflix and streaming in general. I'd love to hear your takes on television series. Vault of the Future, the problem is I spend so much time watching movies that I don't get around to watching a lot of series because I'd rather see everything theatrically and only kind of focus in that space. Yes, I would love to do more series, but I feel like in a way, the strength of this channel for me is, when you get on here talking about box office evaluation of theatrical film, that's it. I go back to the In-N-Out model of restauranting. They only make hamburgers, fries, shakes. That's it. I think you lose focus when you start being like a Zach Pope. I can't believe I just said, forget I mentioned it, just said it quick. You're like, I review everything. I got video games, I do this. He's like the guy who opens up the restaurant. He has a menu that's like 17 pages and most of it's frozen in the back and he grabs it and puts it in the microwave. That's the Zach Pope reviewing. So I'm not going to be that, right? When you get here, you're getting somebody who is dialed in on whatever that is, only that. I understand, and maybe if an offshoot, but the truth is, I'll also say this, Volt, and I appreciate, again, the super chat. Here's what I'll tell you. I need my downtime. I don't want to watch movies all day. I don't want to watch series all day. Like today, I played volleyball all day. Awesome day. It was like I played very well. It was good. I feel strong today. That was cool. But you see, I like doing that so much, like getting away and doing other things, that this is only like a very small part of what I like to do. So even though it feels like it's a big part, in reality in my life, it's kind of small. So if you ask me to start expanding that and start doing things I don't really want to watch or do that, even if there are good, like, look at a Succession. My friend Paul's like, please watch. I'm like, I don't want to watch Succession. I don't want to, even though I want to watch it, a lot of times I just want to just decompress and watch things like old wrestling. I've talked about old professional wrestling all the time. Like watch like Memphis wrestling from 1990. I know it's weird, but that's just, everybody has their like just zone out thing. That's it. Maybe I'll fire up Pornhub, whatever. You guys get it. Adriana Chechik. Okay. You guys understand. You get it. You understand where I'm at. So, that's one of the other things. I have only so much. Thank you. I mean, the thing is right. I just have my bandwidth for some of this is tight. Even after the stream, I'll go a little bit longer because I appreciate everyone being here and it's cool and it's fun and I'm actually flowing and some of you have some good comments. So I'll use them. Here's the thing. My bandwidth gets used up, right? Even at the end of the stream, like I'm done. I can't even do another stream. Like not tomorrow, not to. By Wednesday, the process will have regenerated enough. The refractory period will be over, and I'll be able to fully dial into a complete unknown, and then get the evaluation on live. So that'll be ready. Cobra Kai is fantastic. I haven't seen the last. Listen. I told you guys one of my favorite meetings of all the people I've run into here in Los Angeles was running into Johnny at 7-Eleven when I went in to fill up as you guys know, I drink Diet Mountain Dew too much fucking Diet Mountain Dew and Mountain Dew Zero. It's like 5 cans a day, maybe more. In fact, I went to the 7-Eleven down at the beach and I got the gigantic double gulp full of Diet Mountain Dew and I plowed it on the way home. And this is probably why I'm still running on some of that caffeine. That when I saw Johnny, I was just like, holy shit. And this was before the series was big. My God, that's Johnny. And I went up and I was fanboyed out. I was like, oh my God, I watched Cobra Kai. He's like, you do? Yeah, because that was when it was on YouTube. Remember, Cobra Kai was on YouTube and then it moved to Netflix. When it was on YouTube, not a lot of people watched it. I mean, it was there, but it wasn't that big a deal. Then it went to Netflix being big. So he was like excited that someone watched it. Like, Johnny, I love you. He's great. And you know what I love about him as someone who's getting older, right? What I love about Johnny is when you first see him, you're kind of like going, whoa, he's got the wrinkles. He's got all that. Trust me, as somebody who's no longer 28, you start to see shit in your face. You go, what the fuck? Age spot. You see a fucking wrinkle. Your hair is leaving. You start to go, shit. Should I go and get tightened up? Right? I see guys at the gym who come in and they're like this with their face pulled back, right? The full-on fucking thing where they have no wrinkles. I'm like, no. At this point, let's just let it go. But what I think you notice about Johnny when you first see him, you're like, holy shit, he didn't do any work. And I think that's kind of that gives him that character that series allows him to create. Is the look. Physically, he looks like a guy who's been through a lot. And then you get used to it like anybody, right? When you first see someone, you're making all these judgments you don't even realize you're making. And then over time, you just go, oh, that's who they are. And that you don't even think about it anymore. But we all do that. We all look at somebody initially physically and you say, I'm making, you just do. Whether you want to or not, it's just, we're humans. It's how it works. So when I looked at Johnny, I was like, ooh, I don't know. I think he should have done some face work. Now I'm like, what? Brutalist is coming up, Friendly Pup, soon. I just don't know when I'm gonna see it. Check. I promise you that we'll do a live react. I promise. Because listen, the reality is that I'm looking forward to seeing it. I just want to see it in a recliner. Decisional Leave is literally pure cinema. Genuinely hated the Academy if you're not even nominated in a single category. Jay, you get it. That's why you're here. Listen, guys. I'm gonna straightforward. A couple more comments. We're out of here. Nobody in this space has a better track record than me. Not one person. Nobody. There's not anybody. And I know that's, it's boastful. It's true because you bring a skill set of objectivity with some talent visually of seeing these things and knowing how things are assembled, knowing how things are calibrated. And then you say, this is the best version. Like I said, go back to September 5th, the best version of the film it could be. That is ultimately the highest praise I could ever give. So Decision to Leave, when you watch that film, if you're not noticing, and also score, that's another thing. Every element of that film is raised to a level that is pure cinema, right? To your point, it's exactly what it is. And again, we call these things. Go back and look at Shoplifters, another film I love. Not quite the cinematic experience, but from a story, I love that film. You look at a lot of these films. Return to Seoul is another great film from the past several years that I really love that not enough people talk about. But Decision to Leave is in a category of its own. It should have been a Best Picture. It could have contended for Best Picture. It's a better overall film by far than Everything Everywhere, the film that won. The only film that year that I put it, directly in head-to-head with is Tar. You're talking about two masterpieces at that point, right? You're talking about, if they're not masterpieces, they're as close as you get. And then you throw in an After Sun from an emotionally crushing standpoint. That film, the conclusion of After Sun, when dad's dropping off at the airport and you're bringing up the song. I'm here to tell you that I cried multiple times. I saw him After Sun 3 times. Every time I saw it, I go, I'm not going to cry this time. And I'm like, holy shit. Especially as a father, you've got to understand that film is emotionally devastating. Her waking up in the middle of the night, remembering the trip of her dad. Oh God, After Sun. Oh, fuck. And we have had nothing this year that approximates the genius that is Tar, Decision to Leave, and After Sun. 2022 destroys 2024. If you find anyone out there who even has the fucking cojones to tell you that 2024 is anywhere near the level of a 2022 or a 2019, guys, you don't understand. This space is full of frauds, this talentless people that are not there, have bias. Remember, listen, as I get ready to close here tonight, I need you to remember, even if you found someone who has the talent to do this and is fearless, the problem that you're going to have is they're going to bring in an agenda. When you roll into the cinema with no agenda and you also have a skill set that most people don't have and a fearlessness that the majority don't have, then you're talking about, right, you're looking for that we talk about in Moneyball, the 5-tool player. 3-tool. Right there, we've talked about there's more, but the 3-tool: fearlessness, objective, and talented. Okay, and I know that's a big umbrella to say talented, but the reality is, I've said it before and I said it again, not everyone can do this. Not everyone can do this live. Trust me when I say this. If you watch someone else do it live, they cannot do it for an hour and 20 minutes by themselves. Gore doesn't do it. Neurotic doesn't do it. They don't do it because they can't. You understand? There's skill sets that you have or you don't. This is a skill set I was bestowed by the great creator, and I'm glad that I'm able to use it. I'm glad that some of you enjoy it. For the haters out there, I'm glad some of you hate it. A couple more comments and we're out of here, and then I'll play the song to leave because I just want to hear another song. Ran 15 miles yesterday. My calves are destroyed. What's the furthest you've gone? I did not see. I never saw the other Speak No Evil. I know you all want to see it, Robert. But I will watch it. I promise, because we had the other super chat the other night. I'll watch the original, the foreign language edition of Speak No Evil, and I will give you my thoughts over the Christmas break. I'll watch it. Okay. The Christmas Corridor when I'm not at the movies watching Brutalist, Complete Unknown, Lion King. These are all coming up. Okay. Lion King's this week along with Complete Unknown. Calves. Yeah. The farthest I've run, probably about 5 miles, no more than that, no more. 5 miles. And when I was in high school, I ran cross country, which is 3.1 miles. And I'm actually in better shape now than I was in high school, which is weird. I get that doesn't make sense. But once you get older, you want to take care of yourself. And you guys know that's a big part of what I do. So I'm at the gym tomorrow. I'm going to run. Now, you know what I started doing now? And at some point we'll post the video. I know I promised I'd do MMT Fit. I'll do it. I'm just going to tell you, I've added sprints. So I go over to the high school and I sprint. And the team, there was like a soccer team getting ready to play. They're watching me run around the track. Like, who the fuck is this lunatic? Shirtless, running around the track, doing full-on 100-meter dash, then walking to the next 100-meter, full-on 100-meter, walking to the next full-on 100-meter. And trust me, for a guy my age, on the wrong side of, let's just say on the wrong side of 30, it's very impressive. So I'm telling you, I can even go into the fitness space and start beating these sons of bitches out. It's not even a contest. So, this is what we do. We try to excel at everything. Thank you, Steve. I appreciate it. Or maybe that was for Robert, for you. Anything else? Yeah, listen, jerk. Here's the thing, though. I know how it works. I know how to do it. And it just takes dedication. It takes knowing what to put in your body as far as not a lot of processed garbage. That said, I just drank a bunch of Diet Mountain Dew. Remember, Diet Mountain Dew has no calories. Either does Mountain Dew Zero. That's why it's. I'm sure there's chemicals. Listen, I have C4. I have Rockstar. I have Ghost. I drink the shit out of those things. Okay. I'm not telling you that that's the healthiest, but I'm going to tell you, as long as I look good and then I play good, I don't even care if I play. I just want to be like Woody Harrelson And when he calls Wesley Snipes, says, you'd rather look good than play good. It's 100% true. But at least here at MMT, I think we offer both of those. By the way, tonight, you guys know the kid. It is Man United who beat Man City in the derby today, even though their season sucked. I figure it's a good excuse to bring this kit back. It's one of my favorites and authentic, right? This is the one they actually wear on the field. It fits like just perfectly. When I put it on, it's just like, this is the authentic kit. These are so good. You really should try Diet Mountain Dew. It's so delicious. I will say, Mountain Dew Zero is better. They're different. They taste different, right? One feels more syrupy, Diet Mountain Dew. And the Mountain Dew Zero feels very fresh with just a little bit of sweetness to it. And it's really good. I can drink, if you hook me up to I could drink 2 liters of Mountain Dew Zero. It's a problem. Here's what I want one day. I am going to leave you with this. The only thing I want in my life, I don't really want much. I don't need like a giant house in the hills. I don't need to drive Ferrari. Only thing I want in my house is to have a fountain dispenser with multiple outputs of Mountain Dew Zero and Diet Mountain Dew. I want to post that, and not for just to say that I've made it. That's it. I want to have basically a big gulp in my house with those on there, only those. Like, what's the option? Maybe I'll have Diet Coke, because I do like Diet Coke. I will put all those on there, and that'll be, I've climbed the summit, and now there's no better than me having a fountain drink dispenser of Mountain Dew Zero in my house. I'll see you back here on Wednesday. It's the little things in life, right? Just little things. That's actually achievable. So it's nice to have a goal that could happen. Getting 1 million subscribers, never going to happen. So I don't have to. You notice how that's not a goal? It's so be it. That's not a goal. We'll close with the song from tonight. It is Grum again. I enjoy it. Thank you all for being here. It's a pleasure as always. Let me tell you, I really love the fact that some of you sort of enjoy the show, some of you, but if you hate watch, there's nothing wrong with that too. Here we go. Let's get ready. Let's close it out with Grum tonight. See you back here Wednesday for A Complete Unknown.
So I won't fall down. Will you catch me now? Are you sure you're out? And there you go, touche. I ripped through the silence. Too late, and this won't divide us. Loose change makes you heavier. Trade, just hold my weight. Say it now, and don't look down. Just feel the sound and spin me round on battleground and say it now. Forget.
Guys, I'll see you Wednesday. Complete Unknown. Live from the State of Angels. MMT is off the air.